Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome to a brand new installment of Future Langrisser, and this is the first in 2025. And yep, this will be planned to release on January 20th, 2025. Future Langrisser installment, by the way, not the actual update, so just let you know. I think many of you already know this by now. So, anyways, let's talk about what's going to be added very soon in within the Langrisser game in CN first, and then soon to be in global. And a new hero is going to be available, as well as a new SP hero will be arriving to the game. So yeah, we will be seeing a lot of new stuff in the game very soon. But of course, CN will get it first. Like I said earlier. Oh my goodness, my voice cracked. Like I said earlier. So anyways, let's begin by talking about what those characters are. So first off, let's talk about the new hero named Silrina, Silrina. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I apologize if I butchered it because that name is a bit awkward to me. And anyways, her class she's demon and mage. Sadly, no holy, but it's fine because holies are kind of bit at a disadvantage, especially against a demon slayer. Not demon slayer, a dragon slayer. I mean, why am I confusing that name for demon slayer? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, yeah, Dragon Slayer was the character I was talking about. Anyways, the role that she's gonna be using is it's based on summons, of course, and those summons do in fact do something, which I will talk about later. But sooner, like very soon, like that involves the new stuff that she'll come with. And speaking of which, she's a new dark faction buffer. So yeah, Dark Reincarnation is getting another faction buffer. Finally, there's someone on the dark team is going to be able to faction buff. Unlike the other two that we have, like Bozo and Licorice, we had those two being faction buffers for so long, and now we finally got a new one, and she is going to be the new faction buffer for that faction. Pretty awesome, don't you think? And now let's talk about what her Dark Faction buff does. She has two versions. One on her 2C, and another one on her 3C passive. So let's talk about her 2C skill first. So like in combat damage will be increased by 8%. And then when the unit dies, the damage will be increased further by 2%. So you can get a maximum of 16% if you have like 4 allies died already, which I think the summons will count as death as well. So we'll have to see how it goes because this faction buff is similar to Elwyn's 3C, in fact, but it's a weaker version of it, of course. However, if this is not your style of like sacrificing your team or your allies, the 3C passive is the one that you should probably get instead. So, anyways, in active combat, damage is increased by 15%. When passing allied summons by her Serena, I think that's what you call it. Okay, Serena, I'll just call it Serena. Mobility will not be consumed. So she's like the thing where Polly with those tiles. Yeah, essentially those summons do in fact act like that. So like, you will be able to move further than you normally would. Or you can take it as your characters are Seraphina. And yes, I do know what Seraphina does now because I got her personally. Although I don't think I ever spoke to all of you ever since though. So, anyways, I got Seraphina from the from the hero bag, which of course is a $20 deal, but it's well worth the grab if you are missing certain characters. I picked up Seraphina because I did see her a lot lately. I mean, not really a lot lately, but it's just that she's looks viable for PvP. Not before though. Although she will be even better later on. That's the global side of things, I would say. Anyways, factions. She's part of Origins of Light. She's also part of Dark Incarnation, and she's also part of Yula's Legends. Okay, so I think all of you already know who's the new SP because you already seen it. But as soon as I changed the page to this, and that character is Landius. Yep, that's right. Landius is getting a SP class in this update. And Landius is going to be a cavalry in his SP class, although a lot of people prefer him to be Lancer, but his SP class gives him cavalry status. Which will be interesting because although it kind of makes sense since most of the tanks nowadays do have long legs, like Christian's cavalry class as well as Tyrantel's flying class. Yeah, most of the metas now involves high mobility, because if you don't have enough mobility, you're pretty much dead. So, anyways, the role he's part of is of course still a physical tank, but that can guard both physical and magical. I don't know why I call it physical tank, even though he guards both of them. Anyways, he still guards both of them, of course. And the new soldier he comes with is the Fang Guards. Although, even though he is new, I don't think I'm quite ready to show you what skills he will come with. But in the near future, or when it becomes available through the Lang Wiki, I'll let you all know when it's ready. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about other things like the new casting skills. So we got two new casting skills, and funny enough, these two are actually the classic day one units. Throughout the Langrisser game. So, anyways, first time we got Narm. So, anyways, her attack is increased by 10%. We're using a skill to attack. If there are enemies with a reduced mobility debuff within 6 blocks, they are considered within Narm's skill range. And ranged soldiers will also attack, doing this way, of course. So yeah, you may be thinking, what is the deal with Narm? Well, the thing is, if Narm like inflicted like some kind of mark or debuff that can reduce the enemy's mobility. Like within 6 blocks of her, those targets will be considered her attack range within her skill, like the skill usage. So think of her like Patricia, but in a twist of a archer. Yeah, although even though she's an SR by default, she does have an SP class, which could actually help her a lot. And I gotta say, so some of you guys might be asking, do you think Narm is gonna be the next new meta unit? I would say it depends because she of course not she's not gonna fit on every team, but depends on how you play her. If you play her really well, then yeah, sure, she's gonna be really strong out there. But if you don't use her that often, then I would say don't bother. But if you really like to try, it doesn't hurt to try. And the second casting skill added to the game soon will be going to Cherie. Yep, and she is a freebie. If you guys remember, she's the free unit that you get from the event at the very beginning of your game's journey. So anyway, Cherie's casting skill increases her attack by 10%. When triggering the talent's Act Again effect, the duration of buffs on Cherie will not decrease, and all skill cooldowns are reduced by 1 turn. So this casting skill right here is a huge improvement for Cherie. Do I see her in Apex very soon in the future? I highly doubt that. Although she does have an SP class, which will negate the Archer class advantage, which is huge for her because Cherie doesn't need to fly anymore. Instead, she still maintained that high mobility while on ground, which is pretty nice. So, anyways, these two are pretty solid. Not gonna lie. And now let's move on to the next thing, which is the new exclusive. And oh man, you wouldn't believe what I'm gonna say next, because the next exclusive goes to Awakened One. Yep, some guys are asking why is she getting an exclusive here? Well, yeah, although yeah, sure, Awakened One has been in the game for a while now, but her meta ring or meta prime, whatever that was, whatever I'm gonna describe it as, her days are still in there, and yet Awakened One is getting her exclusive here. So I'm thinking, are they gonna make it too broken? Well, thankfully, it's not as broken as you would think. It's just the improvement for her like spellbound thing, I would say, and nothing else actually. It doesn't really change the way how she comes back. After she dies, she'll come back to life as a double ganger. No, it's not going to improve that at all. All it only does is just improve the spellbound capabilities. So, anyways, her headwear HP increased by 10% when fighting enemies with spellbound. Attack and int plus 15%. Upon death, applies the spellbound to all enemies within 1 block of the attacker. So yeah, this exclusive headwear is actually pretty nice for her. Like for one, as long as you're attacking an enemy with spellbound, you're gonna deal more damage than you normally would. And then if you ends up dead, applies the spellbound to all enemies within one block of the attacker. So, yeah, if the attacker ends up killing your AO is gonna cast those spellbound to the other enemies, other allies of the attacker, which will enable you to be able to be strategic when it comes to like slowing down their team in a lot of ways. Do I think this is broken? I would say it depends how you position it. But however, this does not change the thing. If this person, if the attacker ends up like killing your AO while not standing next to anyone, so that's totally different. It will still have the same interaction, but the difference is that the damage that she will deal against spellbound units, it's gonna be a lot different. And finally, before we close off this video, I think this is actually short and sweet because there really isn't much to talk about because they kind of shrink down the amount of information that we are going to talk about. So, anyways, additional information that we're going to look at here are, of course, although I might actually slot in some stuff that weren't in this video originally. So, anyways, let's talk about what these are. So, we're going to be expecting a Divine Ozone banner, if this is correct. It's going to have all the characters throughout the game, all the way up until the update of Saffron and Honorin. And then we'll have the Divine Ozone Equipment banner as well. And then there's also the returning single banners of Watham, Ao, Apotheosis, and Enya. And then there's going to be a return of Bright Summoner's banner, which I don't know if they're going to do that too. I think they will, but anyways, they might end up getting someone else on there too, like Ice Abyss or even Dragon Slayer, in fact. Destiny banner for Lemia, Jason Goon. And then the CP banners. Yep, the Valentine's banners are indeed coming back. But however, this one is really strange to me because one, you may notice that the list I showed here. So like Zion appear on two different banners, which is kind of strange to me because usually they'll do one character per each, but this one is two. Like that same character will be on two different banners. So let me go through what these are. So we got Z2, or known as Zora Lion Shadow, and then alongside that banner, there's going to be Celica. So yep, if you missed Celica before, this banner is perfect for you because if you end up getting someone that's the one that you already got, and that's on banner, you can actually switch that out for Celica, which is nice because as long as your Z2 is like, I don't think it matters if your Z2 is 6 stars. It's just that as long as you summon her, you will get CP coin, which will allow you to trade for Celica shards, which is pretty nice. And then the other banners like Zion and Alia, I think Alia, I think I'll call her Alia just to be simplified. Zion and Ilia, Ymir and Nymph. So yeah, if you are interested in any of these characters are nice to get. And then there's more to it. There's also recurring banners as well, but this time, Zilong did something that actually makes it better for all of us, because they're considering of like merging two of those recurring banners like Langrisser 1, 2, and 3, and Langrisser 4 and 5 banners together into one, and this will become Langrisser 1 to 5 recurring banner. So yeah, this one, there's no compromise. It's just better, so that way you get to choose more characters to choose from. While getting those two merged together is pretty nice. Hope you all find this video informative, and I'll see you all next time.